Hello everyone, my name is Dr. John Adam, here with Pawsitive Health, where we believe client education leads to better pet health. Summer is upon us, and with that, there are certain hazards to our pets during this time of the year. In this video, I'd like to go over 6 hazards your pet may face this summer, what to do if your pet is exposed to these hazards, and how to prevent the exposure from happening in the first place. The first hazard is heat stroke. During the summer, the outside temperature can be extremely unbearable for all our pets, but especially for our brachycephalic or smush-faced breeds such as bulldogs, Frenchies, and pugs. Dogs and cats are not like us in that they do not sweat, but instead dissipate heat from evaporative cooling from their mouths when they pant. When our pets get hot, they start panting and try to cool themselves down. Unfortunately, in the hot summer days, our pets may not be able to keep up with the excessive heat outside and will continue getting hotter internally. This will cause a vicious cycle of them trying to pant more to dissipate heat, and so they will get into respiratory distress, which in turn stresses them out, and then they get even hotter. Also during this time, they are losing a lot of water through evaporation while they are panting, and that will cause further issues to our pets because they are getting dehydrated. The signs you will see when your pet is starting heat stroke is excessive panting, respiratory distress, red to purple to pale tongue or gum colors, thick mucus in the mouth, and lethargy that can lead to being comatose. Heat stroke, if left untreated, can cause damage to the vessels, bleeding disorders, swelling of the brain and seizures, damage to internal organs, and potentially death. If your pet is experiencing any of these signs, please bring them immediately to a veterinarian to be treated to get their temperature down and correct dehydration. Prevention is simple, and that is by not taking your pets outside during the hot times of the day and taking them for walks or exercise early in the morning or late evening when it is cooler. This is especially important in dogs like bulldogs and Frenchies that are more prone to developing heat stroke. Another tip is to always carry water with you when you are out with your pet so that when they need a drink of water, you have some available for them. Number 2 hazard is hot pavement or asphalt. Even when the temperatures outside are not too bad, for example around 77 degrees, the surface your dog is walking or running on may reach temperatures up to 125 degrees. This can cause burns on the paw pads and create sloughing or degloving injuries on the paw pads, which leave them raw and painful. If you see that your dog is limping or reluctant to walk after being out on the hot asphalt or pavement, please bring them to the veterinarian to evaluate if there is any damage to their paws. If so, your veterinarian may bandage the paws for protection and provide pain medication and or antibiotics depending on how severe the injuries are. Prevention is similar to heat stroke in that you should avoid your pet's exposure to these hot surfaces. A rule of thumb is if you cannot tolerate putting the back of your hand on the surface for more than 7 seconds, you shouldn't let your pet walk on that surface. Also, there are paw booties you can get in pet stores or online that can protect your pet's paws when walking and playing outside. The third hazard is pools. Unfortunately, so many pets drown every year because they accidentally fall into the pool and cannot physically get out or just don't know how to get out. This is especially true with our older pets that may have underlying arthritis or other issues that prevent them from swimming. If your pet is not capable of swimming, please put a physical barrier around the pool or just don't provide any access to the area, especially without supervision. If your pet is capable of swimming, please familiarize them with the pool and where to get out so that if they fall in, they can get out themselves. The fourth summer hazard is bees. Bee stings can be painful but also cause swelling around the area where your pet has been stung. It also can cause hives, itching, respiratory distress, and in severe cases collapse and even death. If your pet does get stung by a bee, then giving Benadryl will help with upcoming signs. Usually the dosing is about 1 milligram per pound. You can also ice the area that was stung, remove the stinger if you can even find it, and give a cool bath if you see hives. If the signs are severe or are not getting better after about half an hour of giving the treatment, please bring them to the veterinarian for further treatment. The fifth summer hazard is barbecue food. This can be an exciting time for our pets when we have all our friends over and the amazing smell of food on the grill. Unfortunately though, if your pet gets into these foods or they are slipped a few pieces of food from the grill, it can cause GI upset and even pancreatitis. Also, barbecue foods such as ribs and corn on the cob can be a potential foreign body in the intestinal tract that will cause an obstruction. and then will have to be surgically removed because your pet cannot pass it. So I know it is hard to pass up those big puppy or kitten eyes, but please avoid giving your pet table scraps so you don't end up taking your pet to the veterinarian with a pet that is vomiting, having diarrhea, or reluctant to eat. The final summer hazard I'll go over is a very important one in certain areas, and that is rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes bites can cause severe damage to the body and are always an emergency. Snake venom is considered a hemotoxin and causes swelling and pain locally at the bite site. It also causes damage to the blood vessels, bleeding disorders, damage to organs, eventually causing shock and possible death. When your pet is bit, please bring them to the veterinarian immediately, since one of the treatments called antivenom needs to be administered as soon as possible and probably will not be effective over 4 hours after a bite. What antivenom does is bind to the toxin before it has time to cause its effects on the body. If the toxins are already causing damage, then antivenom is not going to help. Other treatments include being hospitalized with IV fluids to help with shock, possible blood transfusions, pain medication, and sometimes antibiotics. There is a rattlesnake vaccine that is recommended in areas with high incidence of rattlesnakes. This vaccine lets your body create antibodies to the venom so that when your pet is bitten, it will bind to the toxins just like with the antivenom. This will lessen the severity of the signs from the bite, will be less likely to be fatal, decrease the amount of antivenom needed when treated, and decrease the hospitalized stay from the bite. If your pet is vaccinated, it is still an emergency, and you should still take your pet immediately to a veterinarian after a bite. Another preventative that is highly recommended is rattlesnake aversion classes. These classes teach your pet to recognize and avoid rattlesnakes if they ever encounter them. This will hopefully decrease the chance of your pet being bit and having to take them to the veterinarian to be hospitalized. So this ends our video on 6 hazards to avoid this summer. If you like this video or found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more informative content coming soon. If you have any questions, comments, or topics you'd like me to go over, please share in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching and see you soon. Hop, hippity hop. Big sharp pointy teeth.